for us, we want to create 1 billion fans. And I believe sometimes it can even be easier and more possible when you go to the fans. You don't have the fans come to you. You go to the fans, you travel to the fans, you go places where others won't go. You go to small cities, you go to big cities, you go to NFL stadiums, you go to college football stadiums, you go to minor league parks, you do pop-up games. You go where the fans are. That's how you create fans.
Over 65,000 fans on hand here in Tampa for the most unique Banana Ball game to date.
Jesse Cole, the man in the yellow tuxedo, thanks for being here with us today.
Excited to be with you, have some fun.
So I got to start with the burning question on everyone's mind. We always see you in the yellow tuxedo, but do you sleep in the yellow tuxedo?
No, this is my uniform. When I'm working, when I'm focusing on the show with our team, I'm in the yellow tuxedo. But when I'm a dad, when I'm a husband, I try to just be normal dad clothes.
Before we go any further, the Savannah Bananas have captured the attention of the sports world. They offer a unique mix of sports and entertainment. I'm curious, for those who haven't been exposed yet, tell us what they are in your own words.
Well, with the Bananas, we're trying to create the greatest show in sports. But what it started as is just a traditional baseball team playing college summer baseball, and we just wanted to make it fun. And so goal of making baseball fun. So yes, we had dancing players and we had celebrations, but now really it's a piece of the puzzle. And that puzzle is, and that goal is to create the sport of banana ball. And so after putting on a show for many years, we realized that we could make the experience better for fans. And so we created a new game, banana ball, with fans catching foul balls for outs, a 2-hour time limit. You win the inning, you get a point to make it fast. And now, since then, we've added teams. So we have the party animals, the firefighters, the tailgaters, and we're adding 2 more teams to start the Banana Ball Championship League. So, it's the Bananas were the first one to get us started, but now as we build this game of Banana Ball, we want to take this show, this sport, all over the country and soon all over the world, because we see how fans react to it. It's about the joy, it's about the fun, and we're trying to bring this everywhere.
Do you see this as an alternative or competitor to Major League Baseball?
No, I've never seen this as a competitor to Major League Baseball. At Major League Baseball, they have the best players in the world for baseball. We're trying to create and have the most entertaining players. So it's 2 completely different worlds. They're playing baseball, we're playing banana ball. Their goal is to win championships, win the World Series, and compete with the best players. Our goal is to put on the greatest show every single night and to put the fans first. And yes, you'll have teams that win and lose. None of our games are scripted. So that is the similarity. You never know. The competitiveness that Major League Baseball has, we want to have that as well. But we also want to be putting on a show every aspect of the game and going nonstop. So, yeah, we're very fortunate. We work really well with Major League Baseball. This past year, we were at 17 Major League stadiums, fortunate to sell all of them out. We're going to continue to go to Major League stadiums. And I think our goal collectively is how do we bring more kids, more fans, bring this next generation to more ballparks and playing the game. And I think we're both doing a pretty good job of it.
So it sounds like there's room for you guys to coexist. Have you ever thought about partnering with Major League Baseball, doing something together, kind of using each other's platforms to elevate each other?
Yeah, there's certainly been conversations, and I think as we continue to grow and they continue to innovate and we continue to innovate, there will be some great ways to partner. But all we focus on every day is how do we put on the greatest show and put the fans first. We focus on what we can control. We've been fortunate that we've been able to do this. We have our own ticket system we built. We have our own merchandise we built. We do our own broadcast. We do our own entertainment, our own show. We do everything in-house. So we want to be able to do that where we can control the experience from end to end. And so right now, we're going to keep going full steam ahead to make Banana Ball, make the experience best for fans. And if an MLB sees opportunities to do something great together, we're all ears because it'll only help the game and help the fans.
When I think about fandom for major sports, in a lot of cases, you think about geography and how it spans across generations. I grew up in New York City. I root for the Mets. My dad did before me. When you're a touring team, how do you build that kind of fandom, and to what extent is that even important to you guys?
Oh, we're obsessed with fandom. We just look at it a little bit differently. The way we look at it is how do you bring the game to more fans? We create fans when we put on a show in front of them, not just in one location, it can be wherever. And so what we've seen this, and I think one of the big challenges when you're building something, you look at all the friction points and all the frustration points. You look at the things that don't work and how to do it dramatically different. And I think it's very hard, a 162 game schedule, to play 80 plus games from April all the way to September to create that fervor and create that excitement. Yeah. And so for us, when we can come to a city all over and come there once a year and bring this huge momentum and this huge event to them, it creates this excitement, this energy. And for us, we want to create 1 billion fans. And I believe sometimes it can even be easier and more possible when you go to the fans. You don't have the fans come to you. You go to the fans, you travel to the fans, you go places where others won't go. You go to small cities, you go to big cities, you go to NFL stadiums, you go to college football stadiums, you go to minor league parks, you do pop-up games. You go where the fans are. That's how you create fans. And so yes, what we're seeing is we have there's millions of followers of the Party Animals. That was the team that was our second team. And there's people that travel all over the country to see them. And we just launched our first regional-based team, the Texas Tailgaters. They sold out their entire tour. And now there are fans wearing the gear. I mean, thousands upon thousands of fans are wearing the gear. We had, just on the Party Animals tour alone, 50,000 people bought Party Animals gear just on their tour. And they had a smaller tour. It wasn't major league stadiums. So you build fandom when you bring the show to them and you show them something they've never seen before. We're obsessed with that.
But one thing is, if you're a Savannah Bananas fan or a fan of the Party Animals, or a fan of one of the teams in Banana Ball, and you're geographically stuck in one city, they're still only coming once a year.
Yeah.
So you only have one opportunity to really see your team year over year.
If you look at it conventionally. If you look at it in the way of, well, how do you create fans every single day? See, we look at marketing, media, creating fans in a dramatically different way. Our idea is how can we create fans every single day, even when we're not in front of them? We have invested heavily in a media team, a creative team, a video team, a production team. So we're capturing things daily and sharing it to bring joy. We're fortunate. Our videos have got billions of views. So if we're not going to a certain city, when we come to a city we've never been before, like the Texas Tailgaters, the first time in Texas, their tour sold out immediately. They've never seen them. But what did they see? They saw the videos. They saw them having fun. They saw the celebrations. They saw them singing. They saw them dancing. They were able to relate and connect with them. You can create fans not just in person, you can create fans year-round every single day, and that's what we're obsessed with.
Let's talk about the schedule.
Yep.
We're sitting in Yankee Stadium right now. Yep. You're in Petco Park last week. You've played a bunch of NFL venues. Yep. How does it work putting it together? Are the ballparks coming to you? Are you going to them? What is the process like here?
When we first started, we had to go everywhere to try to convince people to let us play. The same thing when we first started the Bananas, we had to convince players to play for us. When we first did our One City World Tour, we were just trying to convince one city. We had to go through a lot of cities to get one city to say yes. In year two, in 2022, we did 7 cities. We probably had 20, 30 were like, we don't get it, we're not interested. Now things have changed. I think if you just keep showing up and you deliver a great show and a great product and a great experience, you get more demand. We had over 200 cities submit bids. So we have an RFP process. And so for all the teams, and it's crazy to see what's happened. So they're reaching out to us. We're hearing from venues, some of the most iconic, well-known, biggest stadiums in the world. And it's something that, as a kid when it first started, or when we started the Bananas and I was sleeping on an airbed and we only sold 2 tickets, I'd never imagined that. So yeah, we've heard from the biggest college football stadiums in the country. We've heard from the most well-known NFL stadiums, and almost at this point, every major league stadium we've heard from. So yeah, we just got to choose then what's going to be best for the fans, what's the time of year, where are we playing, how does it fit, all those things to make sure it's a great experience.
How does the actual partnership work? Does the venue collect a fee and then you guys split food and beverage and concessions and something like that? How does that usually shake out?
Yeah, we have a unique partnership, and again, we learned this from John Nordstrom. And John Nordstrom, and when they moved, they expanded with Nordstrom. So they were in Seattle. Yeah. And so they had a great product, that everyone was talking about. And the malls of America were being built. And they're like, no, we just want to keep our store here in Seattle and do it well. And they're like, we really want you. We know it'll help attract more retail. We really want you. Like, no, we're good. And they're like, well, what would it take? And John goes, no, we're good. And then finally one developer said, all right, we'll offer you a $30 or $40 million signing bonus to come to our mall, and you'll pay a $1 rent. He goes, I'm in. Yep, sounds great. And so they went that, and that became the business model for Nordstrom. So when Nordstrom was built all around, John Nordstrom talked about this in a podcast, they didn't pay rent, and literally the developers invested in them because they knew that if they had a Nordstrom, they're going to attract some of the best retailers, and that mall is now worth more money because of a Nordstrom. Instead of 150 million, it's now worth 250 million. So they can invest 30 or 40 million and it still be a win. When I heard that, I was like, well, why don't we make a product so good that there's demand to have this, that we don't need to do the same exact partnership as everyone else. Pay rent, there's all these percentages, and you find one, and you do it really well. You do it so well that becomes the model. And that's how it started for us. So Mobile, Alabama, we are fortunate. They invested in us coming. That was in 2021. We delivered 2 sold-out shows. The venue crushed it on food and bev. They took all that revenue from food and bev. We sold the tickets. And that has been the model that we've built everywhere we go, where we, deliver the experience, deliver the show. They win on food and bev. They can win on parking, maybe some premium opportunities with tickets. But then we sell the tickets, and we make sure we deliver hopefully the best show that stadium has seen when it comes to this. So we went to Charlotte this past year. We did 2 sold-out games at the Panther Stadium, Bank of America, 148,000 fans. They reported, not us, they reported, it was almost capacity hotels, the highest level of hotels for the city for that weekend, and a $38 million economic impact just by us coming to town. So when you look at that, and you look at the heads and beds, the food and bev, the hotels, everything, the revenue is so high that they're investing in us. And so we're very fortunate, and we need to continue to deliver in the sense of create an experience that people will fly to, they'll travel to, they'll come from all over the country. And so far, we've seen that the last 4 years. We'll have fans come in from over 35 to 40 states, numerous countries, because it's their one chance. On a wait list, this is their one chance. They'll come into town for it. And so that's why it makes sense from an investment, and it's a win-win situation for everybody.
Let's talk about the business model here. Traditionally in sports, the three-legged stool is the term that's thrown around, and that's broadcast, sponsorship, and game day. How do the bananas fall into those categories?
They're components, but you got to go back to the origin of how we started. And so we started as a focus solely on the live experience. We didn't have a video board, we didn't have broadcast, we didn't have anything. We're playing a 1926 ballpark. Our goal was to create the best live show possible. Fans would want to buy tickets and they'd want to buy merchandise. And if we create a great product, a great experience, that'll take care of itself. That was our whole model. And then as we've grown, we've seen more opportunities to create fans. But still, the origin of everything is what's fans first. So, we had partnerships when we first started, but we realized that the typical generic traditional sponsorship didn't actually add to the fan experience. By putting billboards all over the outfield wall, there's not a fan that's like, I can't wait to come to the stadium to see what billboards they have in the outfield. That's just not something they're excited about. I don't believe anybody shows up at a ballpark and says, I can't wait to be sold to, marketed to, or advertised to. So in 2020, we actually eliminated all of the ads at our stadium. And we built a business that didn't rely on sponsorship at all. And we also had a business that didn't rely on broadcast at all. So our business was healthy and successful solely by selling out games, creating a great product that fans wanted to come to and buy merchandise. As we've grown and we've stayed true to that, we've realized that we want to bring our game to more fans. So we went on YouTube. Now again, no money there's zero money in YouTube. Very minimal to say the least. There's not like YouTube's paying us a huge, but we're like, give the game for free for our fans. So we did that. And as we continue to do that, and the exposure and the growth and the interest, yes, there has been, the ESPNs and TNTs and CWs and Rokus and more that are reaching out. But they wanted to do a traditional, TV deal where it's exclusive. And we said, unfortunately, no, because we want to continue to give games for free for our fans. And this past year, they were able to make the exception. So we have non-exclusive deals. So broadcast has become a very small piece, less than 1% of our business. All right. But there's an opportunity to grow there because the viewership numbers were through the roof. We doubled our viewership this year over last year. And so it's really going strong. So even with YouTube, fans still want to check on the traditional platforms because they're seeing something they've never seen before, and there's a whole different audience. So yes, broadcast 1%, but you look at tickets and merchandise, it's 95% of our entire business model.
Wow.
That's what we focus on.
Given that ticketing is such a core component here, I want to ask you about how that is structured and how that goes.
Sure.
So what does it cost to come see the Bananas? What's the average ticket price? What does the experience include?
Sure. Every single minor league stadium, it's $35. Every ticket's $35. Every major league stadium, it's $40, $50, and $60. And that's everywhere we go. In Savannah, it's $35. And that includes all your food in Savannah, because again, we can control the whole experience in Savannah.
Yeah.
So that's the basic of our ticket. We have some VIB tickets, some special tickets that you can get, meet and greet with the players. It's $100, $125. But that's it. No ticket fees, no convenient fees, no service fees. We pay your taxes. So if you look at collectively between the 2.2 million fans we played at this year, probably the average ticket price, because we played a lot of major league stadiums, a lot of football stadiums, is in that $45 to $50 range.
Wow. And the premium to the regular breakdown, it sounds like the premium isn't a terribly too big amount of the business? Or?
It's 300 tickets.
Wow,
a night,
okay.
Out of 49,000. Wow. It's very small. Again, do for one what you wish you could do for many. So we focus very, very, exclusively on those 300, and then everyone else gets the whole big Banana Ball experience.
When this season is complete, how many fans will you have expected to come through the gates of a Savannah Bananas game?
Yeah, so this year for Banana Ball, we're going to be over 2.2 million.
Wow, and compared to last year?
We were 1 million.
Wow.
The year before that, we were 500,000. The year before that, we were 100,000. So we've kind of gone from 100 to 500 to a million to 2.2, and we'll be over 3 million in 2026.
When you talk about business models in sports, obviously broadcast and sponsorship always are effectively kind of these predictable longer-term streams. Game day can be a bit more volatile. You guys have a massive waiting list that effectively insulates that. How big is the waiting list now, and kind of how did you cultivate that to the point where you can do this?
But by the time you air this, it'll be more, but we're at over 3.5 million. But for us, everything starts with our selection show, and that's in October. this year, October 9th, when we announce where we're going to play. We announce our 2 new teams. That is our big event. It's a live event. It's almost like an NFL draft. We have thousands of fans come into Savannah, and we go on a podium, and we announce where we're going. And the past few years, we've had over 2 million people join the lottery list in 48 hours on where they want to go. We expect, because it's going to be nationally televised this year, we're expecting 3 to 4 or 5 million people jumping on that lottery list to find out where they can go. And everything starts there. That's where you get your demand, you get your excitement, and you know that the games are sold out by those numbers, and now you just got to make sure you deliver a great experience.
You distribute all your games on YouTube. You do have broadcast to complement it. You mentioned, obviously, you want to be distributed as far and wide as possible, reach the most fans. Do you ever see that changing? I mean, obviously, broadcast can unlock some serious money for an organization, a team, especially as you want Banana Ball to be bigger and bigger. What is the future of the broadcast?
Yeah, so the question's right, but it's not worded correctly because it's not about money.
Yeah.
When you say unlock a lot of money, that's not the goal. If it can unlock a lot of fans, that's what we would look for. So, for instance, when we look at some of our games, at Fenway Park, linear, over 800,000 people viewing, plus you look at all the, Disney Plus, ESPN Plus, there's over 1 million plus people watching our games. That's a win. That's a win for everybody. So for us, 100%, we're going to explore, and we're getting some really good opportunities presented to us about how do we have a really strong partnership with most or all of our games distributed, whether linear or streaming, plus the YouTube. And that's a big win for everyone. If our viewership keeps going for them and we keep it free for our fans, and there is, a monetary contribution that can help us reinvest in our players and our cast and our staff, that's a no-brainer. And so we're certainly going to explore that.
Can you make serious money when you're non-exclusive? Like, obviously.
Well, it's a definition of what's serious money. I mean, the reality is, we started, and when I first started in this industry in Gastonia, North Carolina, the team's total revenue was $120,000.
Wow.
It cost over $250,000 to operate. So when I brought my first year, when we went from $120,000 in revenue to $250,000 the next year, I said, we're killing it. And so it's all perspective. Everything, I worked from very little money when I started to even Savannah, where we only sold a handful of tickets and we had to sell our house and empty our savings account. The big money has never been something I'm even familiar with. So anything is a win. But yes, when you look at where our viewership is and you look at what we're doing, and we're going like this, where a lot of groups, they aren't, we are getting some amazingly strong offers. And I look at that and say, all right, with this, what can we do for the fan experience? So we've invested millions of dollars in our own broadcast. We have control rooms set up in Savannah. We have people flying over the country. We got new equipment. We just keep pumping that in. And because it'll only make a better show for our fans. And so that's how we look at it.
Sponsorship is another area of potential growth. And I think you've seen in Major League Baseball, for example, jersey patches, helmet stickers. You want to keep growing. You want to deliver the best experience to fans. And to do that, you're going to have to start making more money at some point. So are things like jersey patches, helmet stickers, or any other in-arena sponsorship, is that stuff you're looking at or you want to see in the future?
We will look at partnerships only if it's good for our fans and good for our team and good for our players. A lot of people, they look at a partnership, and it's, again, how can they utilize our fan base to try to drive traffic to them? And that makes sense. That's a conventional.
Yeah.
But if we ever look at anything to try to use our fans or exploit our fans or take anything away from our fans, I don't care if they offer me $100 million. We won't do that. If they offer something and say, hey, this is going to be something that your fans will get excited about. If we announce this partner and say, this is what we're doing, our fans are fired up, and then our players are fired up and our team's fired up, that's a no-brainer, whatever the dollar level is. So I think it's not the goal. I never, ever, ever think, how can we bring in more money? The North Star is always, how can we create more fans? If you create more fans, the money takes care of itself. Because if you create more fans, they'll want to come to more of your games and they'll want to buy more of your merchandise. It's very simple from a business model. So where most people come to, it's like, well, if you do a sponsorship, groups are doing $100 million, $200 million sponsorship. That could do everything. And people would say, well, yeah, then you can invest more in this and this and this. Well, it's like, if it's not good for fans, you might get a short-term boost of revenue, but you will lose fans every day doing that. And when you're obsessed with creating long-term fans over short-term profits, you will sacrifice those big dollars in the beginning to focus what can happen 5, 10, 15, 20 years. When you look down, you add, whoa, we have 10 million people that are seeing our games live. Yeah. You have 20 million people seeing our games live. We have 100 million people watching our games digitally. That's something that I get excited about, because then everything else takes care of itself.
So the existing deals that you have, whether it's like Louisville Slugger or Aramark that you've done, that is within the thesis of that they contribute somehow to the experience?
Well, 100%. So you look at, for instance, Louisville Slugger, a great example, and Wilson and Evo Shield.
Yeah.
They take care of our players in an unbelievable way. Unbelievable. These guys are treated like major leaguers, and it is a great experience for them. If we can give to our players That's a big, big win. So that's a big win. And then when you look at, Airmark's just kind of a little food, but that's not really a partnership. But you know, you look at any of these, like Dunkin', for instance, is a smaller partner of ours, but they're great because we have player appearances at Dunkin' Donuts. And so when you now fans can actually meet players at different times. We have giveaways where we give away free donuts. It's a big win for our fans. It's not saying come to Dunkin', it's saying meet the players, interact with the players, hang out with the players. Here's a giveaway. That's how we look at all of our partnerships. And we have less than 5. And I don't know if we're ever going to have 20, 30. We have less than 5. And we could have 100. I mean, we're fortunate. We get reached out every day with 7-figure offers. But if it's not great for our fans and if it's not great for the players, we will not do it.
Yeah, no, I think that makes total sense. The yellow bananas jersey has become iconic. Obviously, the other teams that play are also selling merchandise like crazy. I'm curious, kind of, how is the merchandise business here working? Is it you're selling out every game?
Right. Well, the goal is to not sell out of merchandise because you want to be able to take care of the fans. But yeah, it goes back to the model for us. You know, we have, even online, there's no shipping fees. We pay your taxes. Here, a $30 shirt is $30. We're paying your taxes. We're taking care of all that. And so our goal is, again, to be very fans first, to be very transparent on our pricing. And yeah, it's a significant part of our business. So when you come to a stadium, we may have 15, 20,000 people buy merchandise from us and want to wear it, and they'll buy for their family. They'll buy 2, 3, 4 items for their family, and that's. We look at our merch business based on how great are we doing at the product. If we're making a great product and a great experience, you want something to take home to say, I was a part of that. And so fortunately, it's been growing and growing, and I feel like our show has been getting better and better. So we look at that every single day.
The way you prioritize affordability there, you mentioned obviously the ticket prices. Is it a similar structure with merchandise as well?
Yeah, if you look at concerts and you look at the prices for the tour t-shirts, $55, $75, most of our shirts are in the $30 to $40 range, again, with no extra fees on that. We have jerseys that are $75 to $100. We are, intentional on keeping everything affordable and below what the market rate is. And the same thing when you think about tickets. The average ticket on the secondary market is $300+ is what it's going for. Our tickets are averaging $40 to $50. It's a big difference. Everyone tells us we should charge more, but we're not going to because it's not fans first, and we want to create long-term fans over short-term profits. And that's how we look at every part of our business.
If ticketing is the primary engine here, the core of your experience, how do you continue to grow? Do you feel like you're at your ceiling? Because we're sitting in big league ballparks. We're sitting in Yankee Stadium right now. You've gone and played these great venues. There's only so much you can do with price increases. Where do you expect the growth?
And we've kept our prices the same.
Exactly. So where do you expect the growth to come from? How do you continue to?
See, it's the obsession with the question of how do we drive revenue.
Yeah.
It's still the wrong question for us. The question, like you're saying, is how do you increase the amount of fans? That's a good question. And so when you look at that, yes, we're going to have some unique challenges come 2027, 2028. If we do some of the biggest football stadiums in the world, there's only so much further you can go than that. But then you start thinking about, you look at other opportunities. So for instance, we have 6 teams. We're going to have 6 teams.
Yeah.
Okay. So where can other teams fit in? What are other countries you can go to? Again, we were able to do this in the United States, and we're starting it. But we're only going to be at 3 million fans next year. And that's saying only. But the reality is, like, Major League Baseball entertains 70 million fans a year.
Yeah.
At their peak 15 years ago, they entertained 80 million. There's a lot of people in the United States that still can experience our games. Yeah. So how do you do it? You look at the amount of games, you look at the shoulder months, you look at opportunities. We can put our games whenever we want to. Yeah. Come 27, 28, we're going to have to look at how do we do some different experiments and tests. But when you say you're at the ceiling, which is interesting, because that's what everyone said to us the first 7 years when we sold out every game playing traditional baseball.
Pivoting a little, social media is where you've thrived. I'm curious kind of how you use that to boost the business, to boost people coming into the door. I mean, again, it is a form of advertising. It's a way to market your product, but you guys have seemed to excel in a way that just frankly some other teams can't.
Well, because most people look at social media as how to get people to come to games, how to get people to buy things. We look at social media the opposite way. We look at create something that is remarkable, capture that and share that, with not necessarily a goal to get them to come to games, with the goal to entertain them.
Yeah.
When you look at all social media or anything that you're doing, if the goal isn't to drive revenue, but it's to entertain, again, the revenue will take care of themselves because they'll want to buy merchandise because they love how this team makes them feel. That's the different mindset. So yeah, we do zero traditional marketing. And it's very common to say, oh, you guys are great at marketing. It's like, we don't even think of marketing. We want to be great at producing and creating the greatest show in sports. If we produce that and we capture it. So every week we're thinking about what is that gold standard? What is something that we can do that's amazing for the live crowd, that they will be like, I can't believe I saw this. But then if it's captured, for the millions of people that aren't here at the stadium, they can watch that and say, wow, that was remarkable, that was fun, I'm sharing this with my friends. What most people look at, most companies, they look at views, they look at comments, we look at shares. We want to be remarkable in every way. And so if a share, someone saying, I want to send this to someone else, I want to show this to someone, I want to put my name on this because this will bring joy or fun, or this is crazy, I want shares with it. That's what marketing is to us. We sold out every game playing traditional baseball in the Coastal Plain League. 100,000 fans in college summer baseball, they were like, wow. And then we went to 500,000, and then 1 million, and then 2 million. So you just have to think differently about how you create fans, and it's not necessarily put a team in a market and say, let's do 81 games. I want to look at the different markets and go different places. That's what I'm interested in doing.
Would you ever do that? Be more geographic aligned if there were 30 banana ball teams, let's say?
It doesn't make sense for us. And I don't think it makes most sense for fans. I think in the way we're entertained these days, every 7 seconds, every 3 seconds on our fingertips, we have personalized entertainment. And I think people want new, they want fresh, they want unique.
And the league format that allows more diversification, more spreading out, being able to cover more territories, properties simultaneously.
It's completely unscalable in so many ways. The reality is, traveling with 200 plus people on the road, each person we travel with, their cost on just travel is over $40,000 a year.
Wow.
And so when you have 2 tours, or next year we have 3 tours, when we have 6 teams, you're thinking about, we're traveling 150 to 200 people every stadium. $40,000 each person in cost because of flights, hotels, food and bev, taking care of everything.
You're telling me there's no banana jet, no banana bus?
But see, one of our fans' first principles is relentlessly resourceful. I drive a 2018 Honda Accord. All right, we don't invest in things if it can get us from point A to point B. But if it's a great experience for our players, yes, at some point that would make sense if we can get a deal, if we can do a partnership. But if we're paying 3 times over, and that's not how we built our company. We built our company on figuring out when the phone lines were cut, the internet lines were cut, there was nothing in our stadium, and no video board, no suites. We built our company on saying, find a way, outthink, don't outspend, create a great show without doing that. We invest in our people. Doing 200 plus people coming to a venue, that's crazy. Everyone we talk to, the Globetrotters an example, they travel with 30. We're doing 6 to 7 times the amount because that's how we're investing in our people to deliver the experience. That's a difference.
So it doesn't sound like you're staying at 5-star hotels here.
We are staying at nice, if you ask all our teams, we're staying at nice hotels. But yeah, we're not spending $1,000 a night at a hotel. We're finding a great place that has a great breakfast. If you have made to order omelets, I'm all in, all right? And then we take care of them with catered meals everywhere we go. And it's, I think a lot of these guys, that were playing minor league baseball or playing independent ball, and then they see this, it's a different level. And we're obsessed with that. And we're going to keep getting better on how we deliver an experience. But we get creative. We make partnerships. We make deals. How can we get things traded? All of that to create a higher level experience.
Well, let me ask you about the players, because obviously a lot of these guys have minor league and independent experience. Pay's not great there. So how do the Bananas and their teams, how are the players treated here in terms of compensation? And also, follow up to that, are the Bananas considered the A team here and these aspirations to get to the Bananas?
No, I think right now the goal is to get to Banana Ball. And in a few years, it's going to be how can I play in the Banana Ball Championship League? That's the goal. And, one of our things, we were very aware of what pay has been in minor league baseball and independent baseball, and we understand it. We wanted to be significantly different. We wanted to be significantly higher, and we're proud to be that way. And so each year our players get significant raises, and they're at a level which I'm very proud of, to say the least. And we look at a minor league schedule. You play 162 games. We're going to be playing about 60. So 100 less games, and most of our players are 2 times, some 3 times what minor leaguers get paid. And that's with 100 less games. And that's going to keep growing. So people ask, what's your pay? I'm like, well, it's outdated. Because every year it's rising at a level that is significant. And that's what I'm proud of.
Any unconventional expenses? Is there a team choreographer that we don't know about?
Well, yes, we certainly do have choreographers, but they also dance. Maceo Harrison, who's been with us for multiple years, he is our first base dancing coach, but he's also our choreographer, and he's unbelievable. He's unbelievable at what he does. And so you look at that, we have people in music, we have people in dance, we have people that can sing. We have a band on each team, live bands. You want to create a unique show, but also have people that are very talented at things that are entertaining. Not just baseball, that can add it to the players. But now our players can learn a dance in 30 minutes because they have choreographers teaching them, and they've gotten so good every day at practicing that for many, you watch it, it's like, they look like dancers. And these guys weren't dancers, but they put so much effort with our team to make it great, and that's fun to watch.
You've talked about never selling, now even never selling a franchise within that.
Yeah.
And obviously you don't want to take outside capital either.
Yeah.
Are you able to kind of control your own destiny because you've built a profitable business here? Is that the key?
Yeah, I mean, the business is extremely healthy, and I think, yes, most people say, if you want to expand, you got to grow, you need investors, you need capital. Well, we've learned how to do this from just doing one city at a time. When we went to Mobile, Alabama, we didn't know what the cost was going to be to go to the city, but we knew if we sold enough tickets, we'd be okay. And so, yes, if we continue to work on expanding in a way that our fans, based on the tickets, the merchandise, support us, we can continue to grow without capital. Most people, they're like, well, you can get bigger or faster. That's not my goal. This takes us 100 years to create 1 billion fans. I'm all in. And because it's the long journey. And so everyone's like, get big fast, get big fast. No, I want to create fans. And yes, I want to create fans as fast as we can, but I don't want to take outside capital that'll sacrifice who we are and what we stand for to do it. And so that's the obsession. There's been a lot of groups that have reached out that want to invest, and I'm very grateful for that. We feel fortunate. In the beginning, no one wanted to invest anything. It's just my wife and I, we went into 7 figures in debt. Buying the team and failing and having to sell our house. I mean, we had nothing, but we learned how to be successful with nothing. I think that's the difference. We learned how to figure it out with no money, to outthink, to not outspend, to look at every game. How can we create a great show without the video board and all the props and all the effects and all that? Create something great without that. So now our business can grow because we've learned how to do it without capital.
Is that a recent development that the business became profitable, healthy? Because obviously when did that milestone achieve? Because that's been a key driver in your ability to do exactly what you said.
I mean, other than the first 6 to 9 months when we were failing and we ran out of money, and my wife and I had to put the few dollars we had in our savings account to keep the team going. Since that first season, we've been profitable. Because again, it's rare these days to sell out stadiums. Whether it's a 5,000 seat stadium in Savannah or it's a 49,000 seat stadium here at Yankee Stadium. So it's rare. So when we sell out stadiums and you have pricing that is affordable but not bare bones, you can be successful. And then the merchandise business is a significant part of our business. So since day one, we have been profitable, and we've been reinvesting that money in people, in hiring, in investing in the experience, in the show, in the broadcast, and we just keep reinvesting. Then you keep creating more fans and keep attracting more great people to be a part of your team.
Who was Jesse Cole before he put on the yellow tuxedo? Or are you a baseball man? How did you get into this?
Yeah, I love baseball. My dad, I grew up in this obsession of baseball. He took me to the field every day, and I had the big goal growing up south of Boston to play for the Red Sox, to play at Fenway Park. And so that was everything for me. Again, the similar personality of I'm going to try to do something. I'm going to focus on it every day. I'm going to be disciplined and getting better and better and better. And I was fortunate. When I was in high school, I had scouts coming to my games, professional scouts. I had college offers, scholarships, and I went and got a full college scholarship going to Wofford. And I was like, this is it. This is where I'm going. And then had a pretty good career, not as good as I would have liked. But then I tore my shoulder, and that ended my career. And so from there, it was a guy who played baseball since I was 5 years old. Every day, that's all I thought about. To now, it's gone, just like that. And it was devastating. I mean, it was hard to take. I didn't know what I was going to do. And everyone said, go into coaching. They assumed I was going to go there. And coaching, I did for a summer in the Cape Cod League, and I was bored out of my mind. I couldn't play. I couldn't make an impact. I was just telling outfielders where to play and helping set up positions. And I was like, I'm not making an impact. And then I started watching. I was like, man, I'm bored in this game. These are the best players in the country in Cape Cod League. And I was bored. And I realized, well, what if we made it more fun for everyone? And so that kind of pushed me into the front office and trying new things at our games that we've never tried before.
Was the fully formed idea for Banana Ball in your mind at that point? Or how long did it take for you to start sitting down and conjuring these rules?
It's all iteration. So if you really obsess over something like the fan experience, every day you're seeing something that leads to it. Banana Ball was not, there was no thought of it when we first started. I spent 10 years in Gastonia just trying to make each show a little bit better. With grandma beauty pageants and, dig to China nights and flatulent fun nights and pregnant nights. I was just trying everything, all right? And you learn more each time you try something new. And then when we started the Bananas, I said, what if we started a team from scratch, from the beginning? And then that's where the idea of the Banana Nanas, the Bananas, the Dad Bod Cheerleading Squad, the Banana Band, the Banana Baby, all those ideas said, well, could we create all these characters that embody this brand to go bananas, to have fun, to not take yourselves too seriously? So that's where that origin started. And we just put ourselves in our fan shoes and said, well, what if every ticket was all inclusive? What if there were no fees and all your food was there? And we said, all right, that'd be great. And we said, kept going. What else would make the experience better? What if the players were dancing? What if there was nonstop celebrations? What if the players came in the crowd and delivered roses to little girls and danced with the fans? We just kept going. And then after a few years, we said, even with the show, fans were still leaving games early. Every game was sold out. And most people would say, hey, we're killing it. Revenue's, here, healthy, profitable. And we said, no, there's still a fundamental problem. No matter how much we entertain, fans are still leaving the games early.
Yeah.
And you don't go to a great concert and say, oh, that concert was great, I left in the middle. You just don't do it. But with baseball games, it was happening. So that's the problem with the game. So that's when we started saying, all right, what are all the friction points? What are all the frustration points? What are all the parts of the game that are slow, long, and to some boring? And how could you switch those? And that's where it was like, okay, we took pictures and videotape of our fans for a whole season, starting at 5:30, 6 o'clock, 6:30, 7 o'clock, all the way on. And we realized that 9 o'clock was the first influx, 2 hours into the game.
Yeah.
You had 5% leave. Then at 9:30, good luck, 20%. 10 o'clock, 30, 40%. And this was every night. And we said, all right, the game's too long, 2-hour time limit. And everyone's like, no, that's too short. And I was like, no, you want fans to want more. You don't want to give them, oh, it's too late, I got to get out of here. So that was the first. Then batters stepping out of the batter's box. We're like, that is taking forever and nothing's happening. It's just dead air. Stay in the box or it's a strike. It kept going. Mound visits, just delaying the game. Literally a mound visit is used to delay the game and get another pitcher warming up or to calm down your pitcher. There's not one fan that's like, can't wait for the mound visits tonight. Like that doesn't happen anywhere. And so you look at all those opportunities and put yourself in the shoes, and that's how the game was built. And we started looking, all right, how can you involve the fans more? And I just kept seeing all these foul balls, and you'd show highlights of a fan catching, and I was like, oh, that's great, they cheer. Make it count.
Yeah.
Make it count. I want to see a fan catch a foul ball at the end of the game to win a game, and I want the players to rush out, pick them up, and celebrate them, and they're interviewed by the media. You work backwards from what would be the perfect fan experience and say, how do you create that?
But some people got to be saying, you're making a mockery of the game. Do you pay any mind to that?
Every day. Every day people say we're making a mockery of the game. We're not for them. Anybody that does something truly special or truly different or truly unique, you're going to get criticized. The people that don't get criticized are the people that don't do anything. And so we're not for them. I think it's very intentional. You can't be for everyone. And we're for people that want to come out, have a great time, have fun, see a show, see things they've never seen before in a baseball field, and be fully embraced in something that's hopefully bigger than themselves.
Are these mostly repeat fans? Like, what's the split between people?
Well, that's a great balance we have to play.
Yeah.
So every day, we have fans that say they've been on the wait list for 3-4 years.
Yeah.
So we got to find that balance of how can we get new fans to experience it, plus our biggest fans, which we have a K Club, which is our biggest fans, and they are fully invested. They get all the jerseys of all the teams. Some are fully in one team. They travel the country. We'll have some fans that, I remember they went to see us in Lehigh Valley, the Party Animals. Then they drove the next day to see the Bananas in Philly. Like, they will go to multiple games. So you want them to come out, but you also want to give new people the opportunity. So it is a balance that we try to play with every year on how do we keep our returning fans happy, but also continue to bring new people that have been waiting for years to see their first show.
But by and large, it's more new fans than returning.
Yeah, when you look at it, probably, yes. Right now, it's probably, because just to give more people the opportunity, it's probably an 80%, 85% are new fans. And then they want to come back, so then we got to continue to work on that, give more opportunities, more games, more chances.
I have to ask, you're okay leaving millions of dollars on the table? What if the Savannah Bananas become $1 billion franchise?
Well, that's just not something I think about. The reality is, yes, people have shared that our value is at $1 billion, which is crazy to me. But that won't change anything that we do. What I'm focused on is hopefully 1 billion fans. And every day, how do we make them feel something, make them feel special? And to do that, you got to focus on one fan at a time. If we create one fan at a time and that reaches 1 billion fans, that's something that I'm proud of. And the money, again, it takes care of itself, but it's not something that I'm concerned with.
Is this surreal to you that we're sitting here in Yankee Stadium now, 7 years?
It's crazy. If you were to ask me that maybe a couple years ago, I would say yes. As I sit here with you right now, I love creating, sharing, and growing. So I'm passionate. This conversation I love. But as soon as this finishes, I'm just going to get right back and start getting with our team and how can we deliver the best show? How can we make it great for everyone? Like, that's what I think about. At the end of the night, at the end of 2 sold-out nights, I take a second, I look around, and I'm truly proud of what we get to do. And so for surreal, yes, if you zoom out, 100%, but we got a job to do. We got a responsibility, and we got to make this the greatest show, the greatest experience possible. That's what I obsess over.
What do you want your legacy to be? Big question, right?
Yeah, legacy is a big question. And right now, I'm very fortunate to have 3 amazing kids. I have a wife who I love, who we do this with every day. And when I was a kid, I wanted to make my dad proud. Now I want to make my kids proud. I want to make my wife proud. I want to make them proud of how we make people feel, what we do every day, the care factor for people. It's, you can look at a legacy, we did this, we sold out this, we did this, and all that. That doesn't, I think if you do the right thing every day for the people that matter most, for me, it's my kids, my wife, my closest friends, my teammates, the coaches, the players, everyone. If we create something truly special, that every day they come to work fired up, excited to make a difference. If you do that repeatedly every single day, the legacy takes care of itself.
Jesse Cole, thank you so much for taking the time today.
Thanks so much.